your pre-bed routine. So you eat your last meal. Let's talk about that for a second. Good combination of protein, fat, some little bit of carbs. A little bit of carbs aren't bad last meal because that's actually going to help you with getting kind of sleepy. These are generalized ideas and principles and rules. Every body is different. Athletes out there might have to actually eat something before bed because of blood sugar tolerance. You might be diabetic and there might be something in there for you as well. So please take all of this with a grain of salt. Grain of salt? Is that what it is? Could it be sodium, potassium, magnesium, like electrolyte salt? Because that's my favorite, maybe from Bowie. Kind of love them. Eating about 3 hours before bedtime is what you want to do. And even more if you can, play with your tracker, play with your Ultrahuman or whatever ring you have, and see how your HRV responds. I find if I push my meal to like last meal to like 4 o'clock, my HRV is always better at night when I'm super fasted. Or if I've had maybe a big fasting day, I fasted for 21 hours, one of those days, my HRV is always better. HRV is a measure of stress. So food is a stressor on the body because of inflammation and what it causes at times. So you got to play with you. There might be times when you just can't do it. And maybe you're just working on getting metabolically flexible. I highly recommend getting a lumen that helps you with metabolic flexibility and tells you the impact of the meal before. So you blow into it and it measures the CO2 in your breath. And it tells you kind of the impact of whatever meal you had at night and if that was the right kind of meal for you to start winding down at night or not. If you do have to eat before bedtime, there has been some research revolving around protein before bed being good to help regulate your blood sugar overnight. I've heard registered dietitians talk about things like no sugar, no salt, peanut butter and an apple or an egg, something like that if you have to. Most people I work with, we really just try to not eat 3 hours before bedtime. But especially if you are somebody who is fasting or you're really working on that, your last meal has to be very nutritious. There are also times when it will just be a protein shake for me. Last meal does not have to be a big meal. Shouldn't be a big meal. Earlier meals should be bigger. So a protein shake kind of hits the spot for me at times as well. And of course I like Vita Hustle. That's my favorite. Hormones and blood sugar can definitely impact your sleep. So melatonin is what we want to increase. Cortisol is what we want to decrease. Go back and listen to the morning routine so we can talk about how to regulate that cortisol in the morning so you're better in the evening. But if you are doing hardcore work a few hours before bedtime, if you eat a meal that is highly processed or full of sugar, all of that's going to spike your cortisol. And then blood sugar, there are times, especially when somebody's fasting or different times in a woman's cycle, where your blood sugar is going up and down in the middle of the night, and that's what's waking you up. So you need to play with the eating thing. Talk to your health coach, talk to a nutritionist or a registered dietitian. If you're waking up in the middle of the night, if you're menopausal or perimenopausal, or maybe you've got blood sugar things going on, let's talk about if you need to eat before bedtime, what you need to eat, or maybe you need to take it back a little bit. I also highly recommend getting a glucose monitor. Do it for 10 days and see what's happening before bed, see what's happening after your last meal. So that's your last meal. That's protein possibly before bed. Let's talk about exercise timing. You should always go for a walk after your last meal. And that doesn't have to be a long walk. That could be 5 minutes. That could be just before you go sit down on the couch or whatever you do after dinner. Go for a little bit of a walk. This is going to help regulate your blood sugar. Again, this all goes back to your hormones. What about exercising, like really exercising at night, going to a spin class, going to yoga class? I really feel torn on this. Studies show us that it's best to work out in the morning. So your biggest workout is first thing in the morning. When you go to my movement workshops, we talk about movement over time throughout the day. The healthiest career is a shepherd. And shepherds are moving all day long. They're not going to the gym at night. So that's really how your exercise should come. But I've had clients who they loved to work out. They needed to lift weights or they needed to do a spin class and they could only do it at 6 o'clock at night. And we played with different things. Really, the biggest problem there comes with, okay, then when do you eat? Can you eat a couple hours before workout and then not eat? Because if you do a hardcore workout in the evening and then you eat afterwards, your body is all messed up for sleep. You're not going to bed until super late because you're digesting, you're coming down from the cortisol push of a hardcore workout. So then that has put some of my clients to bed at 11 o'clock or midnight, and then they have to get up for work at 5 or 6. If you're somebody who can then sleep in until 8 or 9, then maybe we can play with you working out a little bit later. But if you're somebody who has to get up normal time, normal people do, like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, I would not be working out at night. I would figure out how to do it earlier in the day or do your movement throughout the day so you're not having to eat late and get the cortisol of exercise late as well. Environment. Number 4 is environment. Number 1, mental preparation. Number 2, light. Number 3, your routine. And then number 4 is your environment. We are told that the best temperature for sleeping is between 64 and 67 degrees. That sounds super cold to me. And also, I do not want to have that type of air conditioning, but I try. And when I'm at a hotel, you better believe I'm at 67. Try and keep it as cool as you possibly can in the room, especially if you're perimenopausal or menopausal, because you know that can be a big disruptor is heat. A fan beside your bed is fantastic. A window open if you need to. We already talked about light. Completely pitch black. I want blackout curtains in your room. I want all light away, covering up those little blue lights everywhere with the black tape. Completely pitch black. That's one of the biggest disruptors to sleep. You go through that 90-minute cycle and you do go through a time at the end where you're kind of awake. If there's light, it's going to wake you up. So get rid of the light in your room as much as you possibly can and wear an eye mask. Something over your eyes. A word of caution, if it's too tight or too heavy, because I've had those ones before, they're like weighted, it can actually give you an ocular issue the next day. That happened to me like 3 or 4 days in a row. I was waking up, my vision was blurry to the point that I was on the air at QVC and I couldn't like read the monitors in front of me. I was like, what is going on? Why do I have blurry vision? Lo and behold, I had a new sleep mask that was weighted and it was pushing against my eyes and was causing a problem. So just make sure of that stuff, make it loose enough that you can see, get the ones that are a little rounded maybe. A Sutra has a really great one that I like. They also have a lot of great magnesium products that I like that are really, really great for bed.